Welcome to the LazyCat Themes tutorial series. We're going to go from having absolutely nothing at all to having a fully working cooking blog with recipes and branding and everything that you would want and need in a space of around an hour. Now, the theme that you have purchased, Kaleidoscope, is not going to work on a standard WordPress.com install. You're going to need to get some kind of web hosting from one of the web hosting providers. My tip is that you use one of the mainstream shared web hosting providers, as most of them have a one-click install where you can install WordPress without really having to know too much about the technical details. In fact, the instructions that I'm going to give you are for Bluehost, which is our recommended WordPress provisioning platform, just because it has the most features and it's the best provider at the price point that you're looking for when you're beginning a website. You will now see a link to Bluehost on the screen where you can set up with them as a provider, and that means that the video tutorial that you're about to see will apply to the hosting provider that you have used. I have to make it clear that we do receive a cut for anyone who does sign up through their affiliate program, but then I can also mention that we could have done an affiliate program with any of the other providers, like the big ones like GoDaddy or One-on-One, but we chose Bluehost because we think it's the best match for people that are starting their new food blogs. So the first tutorial starts at the Bluehost homepage, where you need to log in with your login credentials. Once you have logged in with your credentials, you'll receive this console screen with lots of different options. The one that we want you to select is the Install WordPress button, which we'll be using to create a new WordPress install to set up your themes and your new blog. We now click on the Install button. Now, the domain that's listed here will in most likelihood be the domain that you chose to be your domain when you bought your Bluehost subscriptions. Both of the different options of Bluehost that we recommend you getting both have a free domain with them. So it'll probably be the name of your website. And then you just select that and click Check Domain. And then you'll be presented with a screen with some advanced options. You need to click that you've read the terms and conditions and click the Install Now button. As you can see on this screen, you'll get a thing at the top of the window that says that your install is underway. And in the main part of the window, they'll be trying to sell you lots of stuff. Something you come to realize if you do a lot of this kind of thing is that most internet providers or people that host websites will always be trying to sell you something in every possible situation. You just have to get used to it. Eventually, you get to the point where the install is completed. And then you click on the View Credentials button, which takes you to this notification center that after you create a website, this center is open for about 12 hours. What I want you to do is click on the View button next to the install that you just made, and then you can look at the credentials of your website. And this basically contains the URL to view the website, the administration URL, which is what you use to go into the back end of the website as an administrator, and a username and the password. These really are the 4 highly useful bits of information that you need, and once you have these things, you don't really need to worry too much about the Bluehost installer. The next step is that we're going to do some of the things that it's very good to do when you first have a WordPress install that's been installed by a hosting provider. So we're going to do that by clicking on the administration URL, and that will open up a very standard WordPress administration URL. And then you're going to put in the username and the password that you need to access this. Just to take note, that credential information is not around for more than 12 hours. So what you really want to do is either memorize the password or write it down somewhere that preferably isn't a post-it note underneath the monitor of your computer. Write it down somewhere so that you always have these things, because you're not going to be able to refer back to them later. Once you put your user credentials in, and you can log in, and this will take you to the standard WordPress dashboard. This is the location where you, as the administrator of the website, can go in and change settings, create posts, import images, just do everything that you need to do to keep your website running and to put content into it. So the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to remove a couple of plugins that Bluehost installs on its own that I'm not 100% sure that you really need. So we do that by clicking on the plugins button, and then that puts us into this page. And we're going to deactivate 2 of the plugins. The first one is Jetpack, and the second one is Mojo Marketplace. Now the reason that we're going to deactivate Mojo Marketplace is it does absolutely nothing for us. It really is just a tool for selling themes another way. And the Jetpack one does a whole host of stuff, but it's a very heavyweight plugin which can be known to cause people problems. So it's probably best to deactivate it until you're definitely sure that you want to do something that it provides as a service. Really, in all of the tutorials, we're not really going to use it so much. So for now, we're going to deactivate Jetpack. And that's all for now. In the next video, we'll be learning how to install the Kaleidoscope theme properly.